What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so last night there was a much anticipated matchup between the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Lakers. Um, both teams were not at full strength. The Lakers did not have AD, of course. AD will be out until at least mid March, maybe even longer. And Schroeder did not play last night. But then again, Brooklyn did not have their best player in Kevin Durant, and Brooklyn was able to come away with a 109 to 98 victory. And even though the final score was not a blowout, it's not very indicative of the type of game that transpired. Brooklyn pretty much controlled the tempo of the game. Sometimes they were able to push their lead out to 20 points. The Lakers were playing catch up all night, pretty much from, I'd say, the mid portion of the first quarter on. Um, but the Nets did it with their shooting. And last night, even though they've been criticized for their lack of defense, last night the Nets played very good overall team defense. Okay, they showed what they were capable of if they were committing to defense. The problem is they don't do that most nights, and they are very, very inconsistent. And most of the times, they get out of that mindset and get out of that philosophy and just try to outscore you, and that doesn't really work in a league, especially a league that's handicapped defensively as it is now. But anyway, uh, Kyrie Irving and James Harden did not have big individual games, but the fact that James Harden had less than 25 points and Irving less than 20 points tells you something about this team. When Kyrie Irving was playing with Boston, usually if he didn't have 20 points, Boston would lose. If James Harden had less than 25 points, usually Houston would lose. They're in different situations now where you have these two great dynamic hybrid point guards or ball handlers, or let's say hybrid point guards slash scoring guards, right? Who command attention. James Harden, the most lethal scorer in the NBA last 2 or 3 seasons. Kyrie Irving, who's capable of erupting for 40 or 50 plus points in any given night. Some people consider him one of the most skilled, if not the most skilled player in the history of the NBA. Whatever, right? At least one of the greatest ball handlers. The skill to me interprets more than it's more than just ball handling. There's other things involved. But anyway, these two guys demand so much defensive attention. But to now put them on the same team together, and then to fortify that with great shooters like Joe Harris, it's difficult to contain that. And that's what we've been seeing the last couple of games. They tried to become the first team in history to have 3 consecutive games of 20 made 3 pointers or more. They fell too short, but they did shoot collectively 18 of 39 from 3 point range, which off the top of my head has got to be something around 46%, maybe, off the top of my head. You're not going to win when you have a team shooting like that. And they did this without Kevin Durant, okay, who is statistically has a case for being one of the all-time great shooters himself. Career 49 plus percent shooter, close to 50%. Last 7 seasons, I think he shot over 50%. 8 seasons, 39% career 3 point shooter, 88%, 89% career foul shooter, 27 points per game. Tremendous, tremendous player. For the Lakers, I'm going to say something that's realistic, but then I got to be a mean spirited son of a bitch because that's just what I do. The LeBron had 32 points, I think something like 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Okay, those are great numbers. He shot 14 of 23 from the floor, so he was very accurate. Um, However, there are some things that I have to note about him. His 32 points were not as impactful as it's made out to be. Um, he got his, but last night to me was another example of why I think the slogan "He makes those around him better" a little misleading. Okay, I don't always think he makes people around him better. I'm sorry, I just don't. Um, Last night he was 1 of 6 from the floor. Uh, the earlier mirage of him shooting 45, 46% from three, that was an aberration. He's usually around 34, 35% from three. It's crept down from 41 to 40 to 39, 38. Now he's 37% shooting. He's been shooting the three at a high clip, but he's not a great outside shooter. He's not a great shooter. Okay. Um, and we're seeing that as we go through the season, he's falling back more into where he normally is, okay, around mid 30s. But when I say that LeBron doesn't make those around him better all the time, he gets a lot of. Don't get me wrong. He makes a lot of great. He makes a lot of sound passes. And he makes uh, great judgment with the basketball. But a lot of times when I'm watching him play, I'm wondering: is he thinking of the team concept, or is he thinking more like? I'm just gonna be honest. I know people gonna say I'm a hater. I'm sorry. I gotta tell you what I really feel. Sometimes when I'm watching LeBron James play, I'm thinking, is he thinking, okay, I'm gonna go get mine, all right, get some rebounds, get some assists here, get my numbers, and we're outgunned here. So I already have the excuse we don't have AD, but I got mine. I'm not saying there's anything particularly wrong with that. A lot of great players do that. I've seen Jordan do it. I've seen a lot of guys do it. But I know when I see that, okay? So that's the only thing I'm gonna say about with that, Without AD, the Lakers don't have a chance at winning a championship. Okay. Um, I do want to say this too, and this is toward the media. I don't like to see them on the one end say year 18, age 36, LeBron, MVP, yada yada yada. But then when the Lakers lose, they say, man, AD has to hurry up and come back. Um, Other guys got to step up. LeBron can't do it on his own. He's in year 18, age 36. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You can't on the one end praise him for his performance in spite of his age, but then when he fails or have a bad moment, you blame it on his age. Either he's old or he's Methuselah. Which one is it? And that's just the media. I'm not talking about LeBron. It's the media, those who do that. That's what I'm talking about, not LeBron James, the media. Not LeBron, the media. Let me say this again. I'm talking about those in the media, not LeBron James. Can you follow? You got it? Not LeBron. Look at LeBron in the picture. Well, he's not in this picture. But imagine LeBron, and then imagine the Nick Wrights and the Shannon Sharps and the Colin Cowherds and the Ryan Hollins, even though I don't think he's there no more. All those guys. Talking to them. Okay. Now, does this game mean anything really? No. They won at full strength. And we saw last year that regular season victories don't really account for much. And we've seen James Harden, especially, play well in the regular season. What really counts to see him do it in the playoffs. And if he can do it in the playoffs, okay, if James Harden can do this in the playoffs, and if they can play like this in the playoffs, and if they can just be an average team defensively for the rest of the year and into the playoffs, then the Nets, in my opinion, could be a serious championship contending team. Now, there's a difference between coming out the East and being a favorite. I need to see more. The Lakers, they need AD. Without him, they're not getting past the conference finals if they get that far. And last but not least, let me just say this to the LeBron um, fanboys out there. Please, please be patient when the media praises someone else other than LeBron. I know that you guys only like to see him be praised, but there are other great players in the NBA, okay? And at the end of the day, you know, other teams, other players can get some shine too. So that's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys think.